So I randomly, not for the release of this new musical adaptation, I just rewatched Mean Girls. Mean Girls, one of the movies I've owned for the longest time. I watched on November 8th or 9th, and I said, one of the greatest comedies and one of the greatest decades for comedies. Obnoxiously quotable. So many great performances. Wildly funny, real heart too, all-timer. Let's see how this adaptation lives up.
Hello, Adam Ryan Donato.
Hello, welcome back to another Hard Review, where I'm here to talk about the musical adaptation of Mean Girls. Now, I brought this up earlier. Mean Girls is a movie that means like a lot to me. I remember I watched it with my cousins when I was visiting them in Maryland. And I was like 13, a little 13-year-old boy watching Mean Girls, like the most like pink movie, girl type movie. And I remember loving it. I had a fantastic time with it. It's really, really funny. I hold the 2000s in such high regard for studio comedies. We had the peak of Will Ferrell. We had the opposite of a peak for Adam Sandler. I know people like him, but Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, Borat, Hangover. We had such a great decade for comedies. And Mean Girls really stands the test of time. Every October 3rd, someone says it's October 3rd. You know, someone references this scene. We talk about Fetch. We love this movie. And it's because of these performances. It's because of Lindsay Lohan. It's because Rachel McAdams. It's a great movie. And if anyone walks away from this video hearing anything from me, it's that original movie is an all-timer. And I love it so much. One of my personal favorite movies of all time. That being said, this movie fucking sucks. I was so livid the entire time watching this movie because it felt like it was just pandering to me the entire time. So an interesting thing about this experience is I went to a press screening and I took my mother, who I'd been meaning to take to one of these for the longest time, right? She really opened my eyes to what was wrong with this movie, because the entire time I'm like thinking about what I don't like about it, but it was really when I was talking to my mom after the movie, because she really enjoyed the movie. And I said, Mom, so you said you already saw The Color Purple, a movie I positively reviewed. I really liked, 4 out of 5. I have my problems with it. It also does a lot of things that this does that I don't like. The difference is that Fantasia Barrino and Danielle Brooks are so fucking fantastic that it's like, okay, I'll allow it. And everyone is great in it. Coleman Domingo's great in it. But here, I did not find myself falling in love with a single performance in this movie. But my mom already saw The Color Purple and she's like, I'm gonna go again to take grandma to go see it. And I was like, oh, Mom, are you gonna go watch Mean Girls again? Take grandma to go see that? That's another musical adaptation of a now classic movie that everyone adores. And she said no. Keep in mind, my mom really enjoyed this movie. She came out very happy. She had a great time. And I was like, okay, so Mom, are there any of the songs you're gonna add to your playlist or whatever? And she goes, oh, no. And I'm like, well, then what's the fucking point? Okay, because I went into this, I was defending it. I'm talking to my brother on the phone last night. I'm like, I'm kind of excited for it. I like musicals. My favorite movie of the year is a musical right now. I really like fucking musicals, okay? So it's not, oh, this movie wasn't for you. I love the original and I love musicals. So there's nothing crazy different about this one that would make me not like it compared to those other things that I do love. And I remember defending it to him by saying, yeah, it's going to be just the same story and that sucks, but at least the music will be new, to me at least, because I never watched the stage show production, whatever. I never listened to any of those songs, so all of this will be brand new to me. So that's awesome, right? And I love me a good villain song, so I'm like, fuck yeah. This one has one of the greatest villains of all time, Regina George. She's Sharpay Evans coded. I guess Sharpay Evans was Regina George coded, actually. She is that bitch, and I love characters who are that bitch. Shout out Georgette from Oliver and Company. Even her song, I was like, because she's just like, I am Regina George, and then I have no idea what she's saying. She's like, like, I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? I have no idea. She's kind of like moaning the entire time that she's singing. I really didn't like her at all. I really didn't like her performance just in general. As I almost said Sharpay again. As Regina George, I just didn't feel like she had that it factor in the same way that Rachel McAdams had in the original movie. Also, she's like taller, noticeably. Like, she's kind of, I don't want to say hulking over Cathy Heron, played by Betty Brant from fucking Spider-Man, who also stinks. I will say that compared to the original, I do like the look of our new Cathy Heron compared to Lindsay Lohan, because the change from, oh, I'm just a nerdy little girl to, oh, I'm the hot bitch is so much more drastic here. Because Lindsay Lohan, well, first of all, she's just such a big, like, celebrity that, like, everyone knows her. She's Herbie Fully Loaded. And this bitch is just, like, a regular, like, side person. So I think that visual of the movie worked a little bit better. Notice this when I went to New York and I went and saw Hamilton, and obviously it wasn't the original stage production. It was, like, a year ago. The guy who was playing Aaron Burr was like a huge, like hulking, like dude. And then Hamilton was even smaller than Lin-Manuel Miranda. He was like this little mousy little guy. And I remember watching the stage production from Disney, the Hamill film, you know, on Disney Plus. And I don't remember such a big discrepancy in heights here and like sizes. But like that kind of changes that dynamic a little bit. And then they also did little things that change that dynamic in general, which I won't go into, but I do love Hamilton. I guess that's the beauty of going from an original version that you love and then watching something that's like an encore of it, because that's really what this movie is. It's just an encore. I'm realizing that so many movies are just The Force Awakens. So many movies are just that Friends reunion. Now, I've never seen it, but I imagine that's what this is. It's just like, remember Friends? Do you remember all the friends? They're a little bit older now, but they're the friends. Joey, say how you doing. You say how you doing in the show. Say how you doing. He said the thing that he said in the show. I really fucking hated this movie. I'll say some positive things about it real quick. I feel like Spivey, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but the guy who played Damien's character, they're awesome. I love them. They were so funny in this movie. They're the only one who got like genuine laughs from me on like a regular basis, and I love their departures from the original movie, because there are some like little departures from the original movie. His stuff is my favorite stuff in the movie, which leads to my favorite song in the movie, if I have one, is Revenge Party. It was really weaved into the story really well. I like the visuals of it. I like how many people we got to hear sing. I didn't like any of the songs. I didn't like any of them. I didn't like a single one. I'm not gonna put any of them on my Spotify. Notice, The Color Purple, I also didn't put any of those songs on my Spotify. Put plenty of songs from Wonka on my Spotify, but no songs from The Color Purple. Adam, how could you positively review The Color Purple and then negatively review Mean Girls if it seems like they're both musical adaptations of beloved movies who were done much better in the past? And the difference is that The Color Purple had great performances. Whoopi and Oprah are two of the best female performances I've ever seen in my life in that original The Color Purple movie. And somehow Fantasia Barrino and Danielle Brooks found a way to be awesome in their own right. And they carried the movie. I was so enjoying watching them on screen. And I'm so happy that they're getting recognition from awards places. But here, everyone was just a shell of the original person. Also, did they do that annoying thing? And I think I'm referencing the wrong movie, but you know how in like Jurassic World Dominion, they were like, yeah, so you remember how Alan Grant didn't end up with Ellie Sadler, like in the third one? Remember they're not together? Don't worry, guys. We're gonna fix that one up for you. That was a problem, right? That was a huge problem that you had. And now don't you feel so much better that we fixed that fucking problem? That's how I felt with this movie. Spoilers, I guess. They have Tina Fey's character and the principal's character. They're married now, I guess. And they kind of reveal it at the end. And they really want you to like, oh yeah, oh fuck yeah, man. Because this story was not complete without them. They were so to get together. No, they would look so cute together. Every single time that they said one of the like iconic jokes from the original movie, this movie felt like a parody. At times it genuinely like felt like a parody. Like at the end of the movie when she's like tearing apart the tiara. Spoilers for Mean Girls. Yeah, we've seen the movie. She's tearing up the tiara and giving the pieces out to a bunch of the different girls from the movie, right? I really thought that she was gonna go to like break it and it wouldn't break, and she'd be like, this doesn't break. That kind of ruins my thing. And then she was gonna do something else. I don't know if I would have liked that more or less, because at least it would have been a departure, because there's subtle departures. Like I was telling my buddy, in the original movie, when they're trying to sabotage Regina George, they cut holes out of her tank top so that you could see her bra, like right around where the nipple would be. When she sees that this has been done, Regina George, she kind of looks down and she's like, man, fuck it. And she like goes out into the school and everyone's like, oh shit. And then they start doing that. It becomes a big trend. So they do something like that here, but different. I just wish there was more departures like that, because during a lot of this movie, once I realized that none of the songs were really going to do anything for me, I was like, well, this feels like a chore now. I feel like I'm doing a chore. I'm watching a 30-minute longer version of a movie that I love that's being like it's like a stage play. Like it literally feels like I went to like a high school and watched their production of Mean Girls. That's how fucking pathetic this movie is. And everyone ate it up. Everyone ate this shit up. They're all laughing and clapping. That's well and good. I'm so happy. If you like the movie, great. I lose by not liking this movie. That's one less movie I could put in this fucking wall and adore, right? I don't like feeling like this. I love it. My mom really opened up my eyes to how bad this movie is. It's one that you would have a good time with, but you don't want to revisit. It's one that you enjoyed watching, but you don't want to listen to any of the songs ever again. She walked out of the movie and the first thing that she said, fully like genuinely, she was like, I wish there was more cameos in it. And I wanted to die. I hate my life. I hate that. I hate that. My mom, I love my mom so much. She's at the beginning of every single one of these videos. I love my mom. She's the best woman I know. That being said, she's everything that I hate about movies. I use my mom a lot when I'm like making arguments about movies. Like I'm like, oh, my mom wouldn't know who that is. Oh, my mom doesn't know that movie, because she's really like what I think of when I think of a casual moviegoer. And guess what? She said she really liked this movie, but guess what she was doing for an amount of the movie? This move. I don't know if you could see my eyes. Look, can you see? How many times in my life I've like elbowed her like, Mom, we paid for this. But my mom's a sweetheart and I love her so much. And if she likes this movie, then hey, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world. I really wanted to give this 1 star, but in fact, I'm going to give it 2. If in the future I decide I hate it more, I'll give it like a 1. But I was like, I kind of hate this as much as I hate like those Disney remakes, the live action remakes. And I was like, well, I gave Little Mermaid like a 3 when it came out, but it's actually a 2. So I was like, if I give this a 1, I'm probably going to be like, it's actually like a 2 because it's really that much worth. There are some good things about it. Like some of the jokes do land. It's very colorful. It's a very bright movie. It has a lot of energy. It is making like attempts. It's just, for me, it felt pandering. It felt like it wanted me to like really remember Mean Girls. And I hate when they do that because I'm like, well, I'd just rather watch Mean Girls. I love Mean Girls. The original Mean Girls is one of the greatest comedies of this century. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. Like, comment, subscribe, and why don't you guys tell me what your favorite musical adaptation of a movie is. I will do a quick pitch here for a musical adaptation of a movie that is not a musical. It is Moonstruck, starring Cher. I think you got to make that movie again today, except you got to have Lady Gaga play Cher's part, right? And she's doing all the musical numbers. She's a movie star already. She's going to be doing a movie musical with Joker. She's very Italian. I mean, come on.